Rugby Wrap-Up brought to you in part by Sheehy Auto Stores. It's easy at Sheehy. The Pig and Whistle, the world's best rugby pub. And Lean and Limber, stretching your way to a healthier lifestyle. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Rugby Odds, starring former WWE champion John Bradshaw Layfield, God's gift to rugby, Gift Egbelu of the Gift Time Rugby Network, and featured guest, New Zealand's Jamie Wall. Hey, so there's a lot going on in Major League Rugby, and there's a lot going on as a result right here on TRO, the Rugby Odds. Including a change in our personnel this week because Nate Osborne is now the interim head coach of Old Glory DC. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But what's also cool is we have Jamie Wall coming in from New Zealand to fill in for Nate. So he's joining John Bradshaw Layfield and Gift Egbelu in the green room while they absolutely do nothing and I do the work. So let's get to what we just saw this weekend before we get into the new stuff. The San Diego Legion went up into the mountains of Utah to face the Warriors in their packed stadium, and it looked like the home team was going to win early, but San Diego came roaring back and slammed the Warriors 40-25. San Diego, the road favorites, -3. The Legion covers. It was over 1,000 days since the Toronto Arrows had a true home game in Toronto. And in came Atlanta. Rugby ATL were the road favorites, giving 3 points, and it looked like the Toronto Arrows were going to steal this one, but an unfortunate injury to Chris Bell, who was filling in for Ross Brody at scrum half, forced Sam Malcolm to play scrum half, and the Arrows were not on target once that happened. ATL came back to win in front of a great crowd at a great stadium in Toronto. Atlanta covers 20-14. In Quincy, Massachusetts, the New England Free Jacks hosted the NOLA Gold, and the Free Jacks were 7-point home favorites. And they were decimating New Orleans by a wide margin, but nobody told the Gold that the game was over, and they came roaring back in stunning fashion and actually scored the go-ahead try at death. But it was called back by the TMO for a forward pass, and New England wins 33-29, but they don't cover, which drove Vegas bonkers. Rugby New York welcomed in yet to win Old Glory DC to Hoboken, New Jersey. And it was New York favored by 8. But newly appointed head coach Nate Osborne must have had some kind of effect because Old Glory played like a playoff team and almost knocked off New York behind a great game by Mike Chickenhawk DeBoulis. But he was countered by the 6'8" Will Tucker for New York and his sprinting hookers, Fawcett and Geiger. New York wins 35-31, but they don't cover the spread. The snake-bit Dallas Jackals went into Los Angeles to face the Giltinis. And they were right in the match at 14-7 before things went nuts, and Los Angeles goes on to win easily 47-7. Los Angeles favored by 8 and covers easily. Finally, it was a Texas Derby between the Austin Gilgronis and the Houston SaberCats, with Austin favored by 7 at home. It was all Gilgronis, though. The only bright spot for the SaberCats was once again the play of Danny Barrett, who was vicious on both sides of the ball. But Mark O'Keefe and that vaunted back line for Austin was just too much, and the Gilgronis win 43-5. All right, that's that. Some exciting stuff, but let's take a quick break before we bring in our panel. We'll be right back.
Looking for your next vehicle? With Sheehy's Easy Search, choose from over 3,000 new and used vehicles. Shop, trade, or buy online or in store. We make it easy with our award-winning service.
It's easy at Sheehy. Sheehy.com.
If you're in New York City and want to watch some great rugby, have some great food, and some great times, go to the world's best rugby pub, the Pig and Whistle on West 36th Street. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard the recap. Now the guys are in, and you're going to see there's a different face here in the place of Nate Osborne, who is now the interim head coach of Old Glory because of this show. We have none other than Jamie Wall, 5-time author of rugby novels, books, whatever you want to call them. And he's from Auckland, so he knows rugby. And the reason he's on this show, because he's the only guy that we know that's been banned from Twitter for a period of time. Jamie, welcome. Then there's John Bradshaw, Layfield, and Gift Egbelu. Guys, let's get to it.
What kind of stereotype is that? He's from Auckland, so he knows rugby? Oh, my God. It's like, he's from Canada, so he must drink my Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Or no hockey would have been the correct analogy.
I don't care. It's stupid.
Oh, so you don't care about Canadians? You don't care
like
about Canadians?
And they like moose and curling and stuff.
It's like JC Layfield on Twitter, ladies and gentlemen. JC Layfield.
And I'm excited to have Jamie. I'm really excited, Jamie. I want to give you a little bit. I want to give a little bit of briefing about Matt. Okay, I tried to make a list about how many people dislike Matt, and the list was so long. I'm just going to show you. Okay. Here. This is how many people dislike Matt, okay? Like down here where you're from, Australia, New Zealand, they hate Matt. And up here, like in Mongolia on the steppe, they hate Matt. And down here in Sri Lanka, they hate Matt.
They're not fond of me in Sri Lanka, I will admit.
Here in the United States and in Canada, they really hate Matt. So it's pretty much like right there. Fort McMurdo in Antarctica, they hate Matt.
You know, I thought that was my head. You've used that prop before. So
I have not used that globe before. No, I had not.
Oh.
I have used like light bulbs to symbolize your head because light bulbs look just like you. They're bald and they're empty.
All right. Well, you know what, John? Speaking of bald and empty, let's get to what happened last week. I do indeed get the wooden spoon. I was 2-4 on the week. And what are you going to do? But the best part about it, though, is that you did not win. So there's that. You and Gift were both 3-3. NOLA Nate Osborne, who is now Washington, D.C., Old Glory Nate Osborne.
Yeah,
was
buddy.
5-1 in his parting shot with us. Jamie, you got big shoes to fill this week.
Hey, Jamie might end up Prime Minister of New Zealand. I mean, the last person that was in his spot ended up head coach of a professional rugby team.
It's
So
true.
he might just end up Prime Minister of New Zealand. And I can't wait because I'm going to New Zealand when Jamie's the Prime Minister.
That's true. Yeah, Jamie, do we get cabinet positions? Do you have a cabinet down
Oh,
there?
I want to be head of liquor cabinet.
I've got more chance of becoming the All Black coach at the moment. Our one's not doing so well. So, maybe I'll give you guys a spot on the assistant roles.
Yeah, what'd you lose? 2
up.
games? Come on, guy.
Three
Come on.
games.
Oh,
3 games.
Okay.
That's
All
not good enough. It's not good
All
enough down
You're
here.
talking to Americans here who had your team here at FedEx Field in D.C. and you put 100 points on us. Okay, so
Yeah, well, that's what you get. That's what you get for putting us at that shithole FedEx Field.
Whoa!
Show some respect next time.
What are you talking about? It's a state-of-the-art stadium.
It was a dump. It looked like a dump on TV, and
No.
it was.
Jamie Walsh, you can find him on Twitter, ladies and gentlemen. Take him down, America. Take him down. And by the way, speaking of taking down, I should point out that, Jamie, you were banned from Twitter for a period of time, weren't you?
Oh yeah, I was. Yeah. Slight misunderstanding there, but just over some copyright issues. But we got it resolved. I called up the bosses. We got it sorted. So I'm back now. Don't worry. And if you want to follow me.
All right, Jamie, we'll see if they're going to follow you after we get these picks out of the way. Toronto, welcoming in Old Glory, D.C. Toronto choked, and Old Glory almost pulled off a very solid win in New York, but they played tough in a loss. Toronto, the home team, -4. John, why don't you start us off?
It's hard to believe that Toronto could lose 2 straight home games. Old Glory, it's all about Nate right now. I mean, they had the same amount of tries this past week, 5 tries with New York, just didn't make the conversions. That was the difference in the game. They played incredibly well. Sometimes teams just respond very well to a new coach. They seem to be doing so right now. We said Nate should be coaching. He's coaching, and I'm going to go with Old Glory up in Toronto.
Whoa, on the road, crossing the border, Gift. Canada is not one of our states. It is a country, as you know. I confuse them sometimes. What's your take on this one?
Look, I told you last week, Atlanta, a.k.a. fake New Orleans, was going to go into Toronto and take care of business because they recognize what it is. You got to stand for America. But I'm looking at this game, and I see Old Glory. They finally got themselves a coach. They got themselves an offensive coach. They got themselves a coach that knows what's up. Yo, I'm going to give it. And I am being a homer for Nate. Old Glory, let's go get this, because actually I really think a week of play of action as opposed to 2 days is going to change how that team structures their action.
All right. Okay, Jamie, you're on the hot seat now because Nate went 5-1 last week, and people risk their mortgages on this show. So careful what you say. Toronto laying 4 to Old Glory, who hasn't won yet this year.
Well, in that case, I think they're due, and it would be really remiss of me to come on an American rugby show and not pick and pick a Canadian team over an American one. So we're going to go 3 for 3 here. I'm going to go for Old Glory as well, mainly because I love the name. I've never heard of another team called Old Glory before. Is there a New Glory? Is it maybe Old Glory are up to some New Glory?
Blades of Glory.
We're going to skate to one song only. Lady Hump by the Black Eyed Peas.
All right, so there he is, Jamie Wall, really pissing off an entire nation of Canada.
No, they love me in Canada.
Hey, Matt, they don't like you in Canada. They don't like you anywhere else here on the globe either. I can show you Canada.
No,
they don't. Canada's up here.
They love me in Moose Jaw.
They don't like you anywhere else either.
They like me in Manitoba and Moose Jaw. All right?
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
I promise they don't.
And Labrador.
I saw fans at WrestleMania from Manitoba and Moose Jaw. They said, we hate Matt.
They don't like me in Yellowknife. I'll give you that. But I'm gonna change that all up. I'm gonna make the whole country not like me. I'm going with Old Glory DC on the road in Toronto. No, I'm not. I'm going with Toronto at home. Toronto at home. It's only their second time at home in over 1,000 days. So the first one was last week. I'm going with Toronto, despite the fact that I have a great car from Sheehy Auto Stores, my Volkswagen house. It makes me very happy.
You also have a wooden spoon.
Yeah, I got the wooden spoon. All right, so next one up, we got New England hosting Seattle. New England almost choked in major fashion last week against NOLA. Now they got Seattle coming in. Seattle, up and down team. It's New England -6, John.
What is up with NOLA in the second half? They play. You can play the first half. I don't know if teams are letting their foot off the gas and that's why they're doing it, or they came out and scored a try within 2 minutes. And I'm not sure what happens that first half. I think that the Free Jackals, though, they're the class of the league. They lost one game in the Coliseum, 19-15 to the Giltinis. I think they're gonna roll them boys from Seattle. They're gonna roll them boys.
Wow. All right. Seattle fans, send your letters to John Bradshaw Layfield. Gift.
Seattle's going 3 hours into the future. That's that broccoli black hole, trying to be able to lose sleep, trying to be able to travel cross country, understanding that they are not going to be entering into a place that is formidable for them. The East has been so dominant over the West this year. New England continuing their process, even though they almost choked away against New Orleans. And I'm actually kind of happy about that because it makes my picks feel bad that I picked against them, but it was okay. But New England is probably going to take that steam off from almost taking away a win from themselves and put it back on Seattle, crushing them. New England over Seattle on this one.
Jamie?
I'm a big New England Free Jacks fan. I have been since day one. Love their uniforms, love their setup. I think that they're going to come out victorious this weekend because as I've seen, their biggest enemy is themselves. They had a few discipline issues last week, giving away a few key penalties, but I think that they're going to be able to overcome it against a very impressive Seattle team. But I still think the New England Free Jacks are sort of setting the standard in this league. So yeah, going to have to go with them on this one.
Jamie, are you a fan of the 20-minute red card that we have in Major League Rugby?
Oh, we have it too. Well, we invented it in Super Rugby. We've had that. I don't actually know that I am. I don't think it's actually making any difference. The whole point of red cards is to stop guys committing foul play, and all it seems to be doing is getting more guys sent off. So I don't know if it's a great thing for rugby in general. I think a red card should mean a red card. You're gone. You're ejected. You're out.
Hey, Gib, can we red card Matt?
I think it's about that time. The level of insanity that just came out of that.
Guys, let's stay on the script, okay? Guys, let's stay on the script.
There's no script. You have no staff. This is nothing. It's just like us on a Zoom call. That's all I
think New England's going to run.
It's like the low budget show in the history of low budget shows.
It's not the lowest of budgeted shows.
It is. It's like one of those Saturday morning westerns that are like fake horses.
I'm going with New England laying the 6 at home in Quincy. John Quincy Adams, Massachusetts. Next one up, NOLA hosting Atlanta. Atlanta, the Road Warriors -8, John.
You know, Atlanta's 6-2. They're a really good team. They got a plus 61 point differential. NOLA's coming up there, minus 16 point differential. I think NOLA is playing well at times, but it's hard to know about these guys. They're playing well in the second half. And don't know if that's because teams are letting their foot off the gas or because somehow they get the old Sir Alex hairdryer at halftime. So I'm going to go with Atlanta to win this game and roll them boys.
Gift, I know this has got to be one that crosses your eyes because you got your boys from NOLA and you've got that mysticism or that whatever wacky thing connection you got with Atlanta that you don't like Atlanta. So who's going to win this one in New Orleans?
It'll be a cold day in hell before I choose Atlanta over New Orleans. And I don't even care there's nothing to be said on this. New Orleans. I don't even care if it's right. New Orleans. I will never choose fake New Orleans against real New Orleans ever.
How about
ever.
for $100? How about for $100 bill?
You cannot buy this man. He has integrity.
All right. Okay. Jamie, you've heard stuff that you should just forget because you actually know rugby and pick this one.
I mean, I have to go. I'm not going to disagree with Gift, having been to New Orleans myself. Definitely better than Atlanta. So, yeah, I think they'll be smarting after their loss last week, NOLA, but they've got a good enough pack there to sort of make something happen against this Atlanta team. And I think that just as long as they can keep their set piece solid and kick their goals, then we should be in for a pretty good game. I think it's going to be tight, though. But I'm picking New Orleans to pull this one off.
I'm going to be the only one here picking it. I'm picking Atlanta. I'm giving the 8 Atlanta. They're a strong team.
This is a rivalry game. That's the difference. This isn't a normal game. This is a rivalry game.
I don't care. Next one up, San Diego versus Austin. This is a big match. San Diego at home, Western Conference clash. Austin laid it on Houston this weekend in that Texas Derby. But this is a different team. This is San Diego who went up and smoked Utah and cost their head coach the job. John, San Diego, Austin -6 on the road.
Austin on the road -6. That's a tough line to have right there. Look, San Diego went up there and they showed out on the Mountain Boys. Brad Pittman's brother, Sean Pittman, got fired right after the game. So that tells you how much them boys went up to the mountains and just rolled them boys. And Austin, I thought this was going to be the game of the century. It turned out it wasn't. They looked phenomenal. They had a bye week. They had 2 straight losses, kind of inexplicable losses. They looked phenomenal. I tell you what I'm going to do. I think Austin wins the game, but I think that San Diego covers.
Write today's date down, ladies and gentlemen, because it's the first time John actually made sense with common sense in picking a game. Gift?
How about you write this down right here, pal?
Whoa, hey,
How about you do that?
Whoa. I'm not 11. Go ahead, Gift.
Look, Austin. Look, San Diego, give them credit. They went up and they just put a mollywhopping. Just an absolute mollywhopping.
Mollywhopping.
Like I said that they
mollywhopping.
An absolute mollywhopping. But Austin's the best team in the West. Their 2 losses are against people from the East. They got time. They got time today. Plus, they're trying to see if they can get the most value out of themselves. So they can't afford to lose today. They can't afford to not cover. It's going to be an Austin game, bringing in the defense, smashing that San Diego offense. And, Austin, through and through.
Austin was firing on all cylinders again after sputtering a little bit, Jamie. It looks like they're back to playing very solid rugby.
Absolutely, they are. And, one of the best names in world rugby as well. Austin Gilgroni's there. But I have to go with San Diego here, man, because I'm looking at the team sheet and I'm seeing a few familiar names in there for folks down here in New Zealand. I see they've got Dan Pryor playing for them, fantastic player from Northland down here in New Zealand. So I think that, they racked up a good 40 points last week. They've definitely got the points in them to pull this one off. So I'm picking San Diego in this one to get the road win.
I'm torn on this one, but because the show is on Southern California cable
because the
network
show's
now,
supposed to be under an hour, would you make a pick?
San
please?
Diego. I'm taking San Diego with the points.
Ooh,
San
ooh.
Diego.
San Diego with Joe Peters. I like it.
Yeah, I got San Diego with the points. They're back on the grass. All right, then we got the East versus West battle, New York versus Los Angeles, but we have to take a quick break before we come back. It's a cliffhanger right here on the Rugby Odds. We'll be right back.
Been blind since I was 4. And I've never seen a beer commercial or a beer label. None of that stuff influences me. I drink beer because of the taste. And my beer is Pabst Blue Ribbon. It has the taste and the flavor.
What do you think's on the label?
I think there's a naked woman riding on a unicorn, jumping over fire. Oh, that's good beer.
We are back with our cliffhanger, Los Angeles, the Giltinis at the Coliseum, welcoming in Rugby, New York, flying across the country. Gift, when they have those long flights, they sleep, so they're all well rested. Like you said last year, the flights don't matter. L.A. only -4, John.
I got a question for you. If Stephen Lewis had an action figure, would your action figure be up his hindquarters? That's what I'm asking.
Is there pay involved? Is there merchandising? Do I get?
I would think, yeah, you have to get some type of royalties.
All right, then yes.
You could pay Steve Lewis his rent for living inside of him.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
The big question right here is Heighton. Is Heighton playing? He's still in concussion protocol, and without Heighton, I think they have some problems. So I think the Giltinis are a different team than they were at the beginning of the season. I don't know what happened. They had a lot of superstars. They weren't a good team. All of a sudden, they went up to Seattle and became what people thought they were all along. That is one of the best teams in the league. I think the travel, especially if Heighton is out, I think the Coliseum boys are going to win this game.
There's a lot of Kiwis going on in this game too, so you can start thinking about that, Jamie. But Gift, Los Angeles and New York, two teams that you can't stand.
I don't have the same confidence in LA. I've seen them beat basically all the teams that they absolutely are supposed to beat. They're basically bottom of the bunch at this moment. I think New York is a lot more battle tested, regardless of what they've had to face in the East, and just a much better competition. But I'm putting this one, giving it to New York. I expect them to be able to hold on, and LA is still going to be the third best team in the West, but they're overall still not enough to take on New York.
Whoa.
That's all we know. Big goals, baby.
Jamie, what does that magic cricket stick have in it with you? Do you wave that around to get some mojo to figure out how you're going to go with the pick?
I usually use it to scratch my back. But I think in this game, really interesting New Zealand representation across both the teams. Jordan Traynor at fullback for LA. He's a good prospect. He's probably a guy we think would probably come back to New Zealand at some point and might be able to make a run for a Super Rugby contract. Areni IE at first 5, he's a guy who's so old that I played against him once. And we were both old at that stage, and that was a while ago. So, a couple of good matchups in there. But I got to go with New York because my friend Rick Saluzzo, he's running that joint up there, and a good friend of mine, Andy Ellis, he's still running around. He's even older than both me and Areni. So,
and playing fly half now.
Yeah, exactly. And still just hanging on to the few hairs left on his head. So I think he needs a haircut, like yours, Matt.
I'm going with New York.
That's a shocker. That's a shocker.
FLA.
He has never picked anybody but New York.
That is
ever.
false.
Ever.
That is
He's picked it every single week. Every single
Layfield
game.
news.
They could be playing the All Blacks, and they can only have 4 players.
How
and
do
he
you
said,
look yourself in the mirror with your lies?
Stephen Lewis is the greatest man in the history of the world. It's unbelievable.
Despicable.
You are a suck up.
You're despicable. With your
and Jamie's
lies.
right. You should get a haircut like right at your neck, just like right here. Bam.
Gentlemen, on that note, we got to go to final thoughts because we're out of time. Let's start with Gift. Gift, final thoughts. This could take a
Cold
while.
day in hell if Atlanta's ever on my side. But I give it over to New Orleans, and this should be a good weekend. We got some solid rivalry games. It's been a while since we've had a good rivalry setup. So that's
All
it.
right. Okay, John.
Yeah.
Gift's right about a great weekend, man. We got some great rivalry games. We got Austin and San Diego, two great teams. Going to be a great game. And we got two more great teams. It's going to be another great game. Will be the Guiltinis and New York. These are the best that there is in Major League Rugby. They're playing each other in a contested game that matters in this season. This is going to be a fun weekend to watch rugby.
Like the boys said, fantastic rivalry matchup week. He doesn't get better than this, I think, in Major League Rugby. I'm really looking forward to seeing LA and New York. I think that's going to be the match of the weekend.
Yeah, and back to that LA New York thing, the owner, Adam Gilchrist, rumored to be looking to sell the Gilgronis. That's a story that we got to stay on. And I got to say something. You know, he's getting damned if he does and damned if he doesn't by people on the internet. But the guy saved the Austin franchise, put them back on the map. And why do we want more than an owner to own more than one team anyway?
Can we get him to buy our show? Gift his host. This is like the most low budget show ever.
That's precisely why I'm kissing his ass right now on the air.
Well done.
Yes,
well done, sir. Well done.
Thank you. All right, guys. On that note, I want to thank Mr. John Bradshaw Layfield, Mr. Gift Egbelu, and Mr. Jamie Wall. And thank you for tuning in. I'm Matt McCarthy. Please check out our other shows, including Major League Rugby Highlight Show and the College Rugby Wrap-Up. Please sign up for our weekly newsletter. Subscribe to us on YouTube. And please, 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 please sign up for our American Red Cross Blood Donor Team.